lethal nerve gas test on U.S. soldiers. Tens of thousands sprayed, hundreds died we know of. So we have a so-called government that will murder our own troops and children to test things on them. They're testing cadres of doctors. They're not even testing to see if sarin will kill you. They're creating an army of pure evil. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to give the number out right now. And I want to get your take on all these Republicans. That's what we're taking calls on. We don't screen your calls, but occasionally I say this is the topic. And so I don't want to talk about Nibiru. I don't want to talk about Easter bunnies right now. I mean, I want to talk about the fact that they've introduced legislation on a bill that's very close to passing, the Cybersecurity Act, because I've read the bill. The media isn't even analyzing this right. It says it bans all 10-round mags and above. No. It bans guns that can take them. And I've read the comment period on this last year when they tried it again, where they said, they're going to ban most shotguns that could take any type of feed, any type of, multiple round cartridge. I mean, it's on. And by the way, they haven't killed the UN treaty either. Let me give you the number. 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539, 877-789-2539. But Republicans are coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, we're not going to oppose you if you want to ban semi-autos. That's completely reasonable. Folks, they're not just talking about banning more manufacture and then we always knew it would lead to... No, they're like, skip all those. We just going to ban your semi-auto. Australia did that and then said, now we're going to register the single shot, started taking those. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we're in deep trouble. And I've told you the whole Homeland Security rollout is for martial law on the streets, checkpoints everywhere. That's being announced. And they are going to send cops and military if they think they can get away with it to try to take our guns. And again, let me just tell the police and military the plan here. This is meant to cause a civil war. That's why they're telling you the last 5-6 years and accelerating, you will soon be at war with the veterans. They are going to attack you. Every police department's been told, you will be attacked by veterans. They will attack. Well, you bet they're going to attack you. They're not going to wait in their house for you to come get their guns once it starts. If you're part of a department or you're part of a military group that is anywhere trying to take guns, you're going to be able to sneak up on the first few groups. Doesn't matter how much communications you clamp down. The word is going to get out, and people are going to start pulling triggers when they see you, okay? And they're going to be waiting for you. They're not going to be dead enders in their houses. And I don't want that to happen. I don't have some macho impetus to, the Civil War will soon start. We'll show you. No. On this battlefield, no one wins except the offshore bankers laughing. And by the way, don't think they won't launch all this. Folks, they're getting ready to start war with Iran and Syria. Physical war. Russia's threatening to retaliate. Russian ships keep getting stopped trying to go to Syria. They've now got them escorted by missile cruisers, and they say they're going to attack the ships if they get messed with. I mean, this is all down to the wire. And the global bankers, they know we'll get patriotic and rally around the country if they get us in a big war. And they hate us so much, they're willing to get in a fight with the Ruskies or the Iranians just so they can stage terror attacks here and say the Russians did it and take our rights. And say anybody that didn't want to turn their guns in is with the Russians. And if you don't think they're not, folks, I've got their whole plan down. It's so dastardly, it makes my head spin. It makes me want to throw up. Every time I look at my innocent children and I look at everybody else who's innocent, I look at adults who are innocent, and I'm like, they have no idea this wonderful society, all we've built, all the good. There's a lot of good left in America. It's all about to go in the fire, just like Russia or China. Folks, we're about to get hammered hard. If you think they care that there's going to be hundreds of thousands, and I mean hundreds of thousands of dead cops if this goes through, they love that. They want to bring in I-4 troops. It's why they've been training forever to bring in foreign troops. And don't say you weren't warned. I'm risking my life here to try to save American lives, police, military, you name it. This is not a game. And you know why you got chills right now, police officers listening? I know you do. Because I got them too. Because you know truth when you hear it, and you know survival when you hear it. We cannot be this stupid so these people can have their way. Our country's been infiltrated. Wake up! Defend it! It's sophisticated, but we can beat it. Alex. All right, it's second hour of the Sunday Worldwide Transmission. I'm Alex Jones, your host. Toll-free number to join us is 877-789-ALEX. All right, I want to go to a bunch of your calls because then I've got to do a review of the Olympic opening ceremony. That was subliminal messages, pyramids, women and men kissing, and we had to turn it off. I mean, I cannot let my 4-year-old watch that. And so I'm calling for a boycott of the Olympics. I don't need to hear how great socialist healthcare is. I don't need to see women kissing. I just want my children to chase butterflies outside. And, you know, when they grow up and get out of high school, whatever, I want them to go and bring me some grandkids, get married and have a good life. I don't want them screwed up by your culture. Very offensive. And again, folks, I am a media person, self-taught, 19 years, 17 years on air. I know subliminals when I see it. When they're flashing stuff and for a half second putting women kissing and men humping each other, that's what you call subliminal. And I'm sitting there with my parents over. We've cooked hamburgers when they're getting ready for the Olympics. Because, it comes every 4 years. I like sports. And I said, you seeing these? And I was talking to some family. And they go, I don't see women kissing. And I said, you'll see it in the news. People will pick up on it. I go, you see those guys humping? See those pyramids, the all-seeing eye? They're like, no. And I go, that's because you're laying there on the floor with a pillow, suspending disbelief. If you weren't in a zombie state, it puts you in a close to dream state, you'd be physically ill right now. And I had to go out of the room until they turned it off. And I wanted to be able to watch the opening of the Olympics. You cannot do it. You're opening yourself up to be victimized by programming. And if you're a new listener and like, oh, come on, folks, I'm not joking around with you, okay? I've studied propaganda. That's what I do. I live this. I live this. You weren't just being told how great their national socialist healthcare system is and how the state takes over and demons dancing around kids in hospital beds, super inappropriate, and the state's going to save you was the message. It was like North Korean propaganda. I mean, you can watch North Korean parades and you can see how it's horrible. This was worse. And I find it very offensive. Very offensive. And, okay, I'm going to stop right there. Again, our television is turned off almost all the time. We watch old movies and stuff with it and educational programs with the kids, but I can't even do that. I turn on some Animal Planet show at the end of it, how bad humans are, how the Earth's dying, how Al Gore is going to save us. There's a reason Newsweek is going to suspend print. It's not that print's dying, it's that no one wants to read you. Print's actually having a resurgence when it's cool. We're launching a new newspaper and magazine next month. Haven't told you about that yet. And by the way, we already sold out the advertising the first week. You guys, you are failures. You are failures, not us. That's why you want our guns. You're people that nobody invites to the party. You're the control freaks. I met this Fareed Zakaria guy one time when I was at CNN. I mean, what a sack of crap. What a weak little globalist Bilderberg Group member media whore. No one reads you, twit. The power is draining out of you. You're a shadow of what you were 10 years ago. Soon you'll be a memory of a shadow. You'll be a ghost in the machine. And we're going to exercise your little butt. You understand that, New World Order? Now, I'm going to go to break here in just a moment, but I want to start some calls now. But if you just joined us, I want to give you the bad news. The good news is they're having to announce in the main enemy publication, designed for low-grade morons, Time Magazine, how guns won, why Americans have turned against gun control. Now, I've been telling you for years we've turned against it because I can look at a Gallup poll. But you know what freaks them out the worst? A few months ago, over 70% on average of Americans get that gun control is about disarming victims, and that criminals don't follow laws, and that, hey, it's about a criminal government. But you know what really made them mad? I told you this earlier in the week and predicted they'd come out and admit this. Because this is a desperate SOS by them. So look for all sorts of. Let me tell you, these people are down, but they're not out. Just because we're winning some battles, folks, we're coming from behind. We better kick it in high gear, or they're going to kick our butts. I'm going to tell you right now, I know this enemy. I eat, drink, and sleep their defeat. Okay? I know these tyrants arming with our tax money against us while trying to disarm us. They got mad because gun sales already at an all-time record of over 3.5 million a month, some months 5 million. Guess what gun sales did in the 1 week after the staged event? And it's staged as a $3 bill, folks. They're in Aurora, Colorado. Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Guess what happened? You can pull the poll numbers up. They talk about it in the article. They doubled existing record gun sales in the week after, and there was at least a 5-point uptick in major polls against gun control. You staged it, and it blew up in your stinking face. You could be selling snow cones in the ninth circle of hell, and nobody's buying them from you. Do you understand that trash? You could kill me tomorrow. You won't stop the signal. You're not going to stop humanity. You only got humanity to start getting up on its hind legs and get ready. Because you may try to start a civil war in this country, marching the police and military out after you stage some terror attacks, globalists. You may try to get our guns. You may even start a war with Russia, getting us to rally around the flag while you start all these wars. America's been occupied by foreign banks. Am I a fan of Russia? No, never been there, studied it. It's a police state. Do I like Iran? Never been there? No. It's a police state. I don't live in Iran. I don't live in Russia. I live in America. And you know what? I'll start saying down with the Ruskies as soon as the bankers are out of my country. As soon as a bunch of offshore banks running roughshod over us who brag. Get the clip ready on CNBC where they brag they've conquered America. And by the way, it isn't just on CNBC. It's in hundreds of publications how they've conquered us. What a joke it is. I talk to top stockbrokers. I talk to billionaires off record. They go in these meetings and they laugh at you and call you stupid. You've read the Goldman Sachs emails where they were selling cities and counties and police pension funds, stuff they knew was going to go belly up, and calling you dumb idiots. Just like the head of Facebook calls you suckers. Listen, I don't want to live in a society where we're treated like suckers. I want to live in a society where there's a straight deal, a real handshake, where people are honorable, where we build things. I don't want to live in a place run by a bunch of crooks. They've somehow sold us on the idea that living with a bunch of crooks is fun and cute. There's nothing cute about it. My American heritage and my Texas heritage demands I make a stand against you no matter what you do. And I'm going to tell you something. We're going to stomp the hell out of your New World Order, and you can feel it right now. So you try whatever you want. Go ahead and release a bioweapon. That's the only power you got left, so kill a bunch of us. We know you did that too. There ain't nothing you can do now to turn this around. The only question is, how much are you going to destroy before we dig you out of your bases, dig you out of your underground holes you're going to run to long after I'm dead, probably. You're not going to stop anything. You understand that? Our ancestors stood up against people like you, and our progeny is going to spit on your grave, New World Order. Let's go out to break and come back with calls with the bankers telling us that we're their slaves. Here it is. We'll get to that clip here just as soon as the computer stops having a heart attack.
So mostly what they do is hold summits. I think that right now the question is, do we all work for central bankers? That's what I want to address to our guest tonight. Is this global governance at last? Is it one world, the central bankers in charge? Jim, you say we've got some downside here, a correction in